What's going on there, guys? My name is Matt, or Chewy, as most of you will know me as, and today back with another long haul video. This time we are in the 777 once again, believe it or not. I know, surprise, surprise. And we are at the newly released FlyTampa Amsterdam. This thing has been hot on the press recently. A lot of people have been looking forward to it, myself included. And so I wanted to do a nice video for you guys. And as you can tell by the title of the video, we are doing KLM427 today, which is Amsterdam to Dubai. Both very popular airports, both very popular FlyTampa sceneries, and I couldn't really turn this route down to do for a video. So that is the plan of action today. We're currently on stand Foxtrot 8, as you see up the top there, and we've just started boarding. We've got the passengers coming on now. Don't worry about the door being open there. And if I switch across to this view, you'll be able to see that the cargo and the baggage and everything is being loaded on now as well. We're in the KLM Asia livery. Let me just confirm what the registration is. It's Papa Hotel Bravo Quebec India. That is the registration we're in today. It's quite a dirty livery, but this is real KLM Asia. I was just having a look on Flight Radar, and they do take this livery to Dubai, so it should be a good one. And we are in the 777-200 as well, so not the massive 300 today. Well, the 200 is still massive, but 300 is even bigger. Anyway, right. So boarding is commencing. We've got everything going. So let's go into the flight deck and have a look and see what's going on. The local time is 8:25 a.m. So 7:25 Zulu at the current moment in time, I believe. I believe Amsterdam is 1 hour ahead of GMT time, unless I'm a fool. We've already loaded in the zero fuel weight and everything, which today is 182.2. And we've got a max zero fuel weight of 195.0. So we're about 50% on the total load, I believe. And then fuel wise, you can see it on the upper ICAS here. We've got 45.2 tons in total, which should give us around about 7.5 hours of flying. We're only expecting a flight time, according to PFPX, of 5 hours and 23 minutes today. So it's actually not that long of a flight. But we've got the door page up here just whilst the passengers and cargo is boarding. I've got the electrical page up, and we can start to get things going in here and start to get ready for the flight. So of course the first thing that I want to do is get the ADIRUs on. The emergency lights should already be on as we go. I'll just pop the research plans on. And actually we've already finished with the fueling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop the seatbelt sign on straight away and leave that like so. It's horribly murky and just not very nice outside whatsoever at Amsterdam today. It's raining and it's just looking cold and dark. So hopefully the trip to Dubai will warm us up a bit. I'm sure it will be just a tad bit more warm over there than it is here. We'll pop the needles up on either side. We've already got hectopascal selected there. We're going to be a cheat and press B to get the QNH, which is currently bang on 1,000. And apparently the passengers have actually boarded, so that was pretty quick. I won't close the doors up yet, though. We can get things started on here. We'll pretend that we're, I don't know, getting the load sheet going from the ramp officer or whatever and all of that jazz. For some reason the battery isn't on, so maybe I should turn that on. That would be a great help as well, Chewy. Anyway, let's move down into the FMCs and enter the inertial position as it's asked for us to do here. We're on AIRAC 1701 at the second, which became active on January the 5th and ends on February the 1st. So, pause in it. We are at FlyTampa Amsterdam. The first time ever showing this scenery on the channel, and I'm in love with it. It's amazing. It's not the best on VAS, but it is very good. And there's the GPS position. So we'll do the route request as always. We'll grab it in. You can see some of the other routes I've been doing recently here for streams and things like that. And just with friends, just flying offline and stuff. And that route request is sent. Good. Whilst that's going on, I guess we could really shut this door, couldn't we? The front two doors if boarding has completed. We'll close those up. And then move back down and we can load in the route request. It's the same kind of structure that I go through, as normal today. Nothing too crazy about it, but hopefully the arrival into Dubai could be quite an interesting one. Departure runway today is runway 18 left. And as I said at the start of the video, we are KLM, which is all in one line there, 427, which I can pop in for the flight number there. And we'll activate and execute that. Now, we'll do the departures and arrivals next. As I said, it's runway 18 left. Our first waypoint is a Dupo. So I'm going to bring across my beloved Aivlasoft EFB, as you know I like to do, and show you where we are. So here we are, Foxtrot 8, which is where the real-life flight departed from earlier on today. And 18 left is down here. We'll work at the taxi in a second. Let's just have a look at the departure. So it's going to be runway 18 left, which is this one down the bottom here. And as I said, our first waypoint is a Dupo. So it's the Looney 1 Echo departure, which we'll be doing today. Straight left-hand turnout after departure to Ivlet, then Lunix, then Rendy, and then a Dupo, which is the start of our route, our flight planned route. So nothing too crazy. I don't think there's any really crazy restrictions there. In terms of that taxi, let's have a look. So we'll push back, hopefully with our nose to the left, if GSX will allow us to do so. And then we'll taxi down. We'll taxi down here, see if I can cross onto this section here. I think that may be November 3 there, onto Bravo. And then from Bravo, we'll take a left onto November 2. And then right down the bottom here, you'll see Echo 6 to the holding point for 18 left. Runway length today, I think it said at the top there, let me just confirm that, is 3,400 meters. So plenty of room for a 777. Yeah, let's just pop that back on the page there, and then I'll drag that across. And as I said, 18 left for departure today, and it's going to be the Looney, where are you? Looney 1 Echo departure. And I can execute that into there like so. Just go into the legs page, make sure we've got no discontinuities in there. Nope, all looks good. Performance initialization request, I'll get that going. And apparently the boarding is completed whilst we're doing that. There we go, all the cargo's boarded. That didn't take very long whatsoever. And you may just be able to see in the background the trucks leaving us. Yeah, it's cold and dark and horrible today. The night lighting at FlyTampa Amsterdam is really, really nice, but it's pretty rubbish. Don't worry though, I will be doing more videos from this scenery, and there will be another video up again soon of my arrival into here on stream with full ATC and everything like that, which was very fun. So be on the lookout for that video. Anyway, sorry, enough about that. Let's get back into the flight deck, and we will accept that. Cost index is actually 100. That is correct for KLM, according to my sources. We've got an initial cruise altitude of flight level 370, and we should be stepping up to 390 at some point. And you can see here, zero fuel weight, as I said, 182.2. We've got the fuel of 45.2 in there, like so. And that's all looking good with me. So I can go to the thrust limits now. And let's have a look here. I've got Topper, which is awesome. It's a bit more realistic, I've heard, than Top Cat. And so this is what I'm going to be using to work out our takeoff performance today. As you can see, we are at Amsterdam EHAM, runway 18 left. We're going to be taking the full length of the runway. We can move that to wet because it's really very rainy and horrible here, as I've said. And I've got the winds and everything loaded in. I'm just going to confirm that those are correct, actually, because I think they could be a little bit out. Yes, they are. So I loaded this in earlier on, but they've actually changed. So the winds are now 207 knots. It's going to let me do that. Let me try and type that in again at 7 knots. There we go. The temperature is still 5 degrees centigrade, and the QNH, as I popped in earlier on, is 1,000. And then the takeoff weight I've already loaded in, so 226,966, which gives us a V1 of 130, a VR of 140, and a V2 of 144. That is with flaps 15 and a selected temperature of 70 degrees, no D rate there or anything. So that is quite simple enough. I'll move that back over now because I don't need that anymore. And so we'll convert that across. So no D rate with a selected temperature here of 70 degrees centigrade. And then the takeoff will be flaps 15. We'll pop the center of gravity into there, which gives us a trim of 3.0. And before I enter in these speeds, I need to change things in here. So that wind was 207 knots, if I remember correctly. It's going to be 0 here for the slope, and because it's raining, we do a / and then W, which you'll see here will come across as wet. And then the outside air temperature is 5 degrees centigrade, which is good. I'm going to pop 3,000 here as the acceleration altitude. And then if I go to the previous page, that's actually changed things. So I'm going to go with what Topper said instead of what the 737 says here. So it's going to be 130. Or is it going to let me do that? If I actually enter these in, if I enter these and then try and change them, will it let me do so? That is the question. No, apparently it's not going to let me change them. which is a little weird. So there was no point really using topper there because it won't let me change them now. Maybe I've done something wrong and made a mistake. I probably have, knowing me, so I apologize. What it could be is it could be the takeoff gross rate. Let me just try and enter this in 226.9. As you can tell, I'm still discovering things about this aircraft. That will delete the takeoff speeds. Then if I put 130 in here and overwrite that, no, it's not going to let me do it. Weird. I'm not too sure why, but whatever. We've still basically got the same. It's just that V1 is a little bit higher. We've still got the V rotate of 140 and the V2 of 144. The only difference is that it's giving me a V1 of 138 and not 130 now. But hey ho, whatever. On this FMC, let's get the route data and do a wind data request. And whilst we're doing that, we can look up the top here and start to enter in some details. So MCP first section is the speed, 144 for the V2. We're departing on runway 1A. I don't know the specific runway heading because, as usual, I'm lazy and haven't checked the charts, which I seem to always do, and I probably really should get my act together about that, so I apologise. So I'm just going to put 180 in initially. We're going to be making a very quick left-hand turn after departure anyway, if things all go well. And then no ATC today, so I'm clearing myself all the way up to our initial cruise, which is flight level 370. Flight directors can come on, LNAV and VNAV can be armed, and the auto brake goes to RTO, which I'm sure most of you know stands for rejected takeoff. Get the wind data loading onto there, and execute that like so. Now, if I just very quickly go to the legs page here, it should come up with our cruise. So we're going for 370 initially, and then we should have a step climb. Here it is. So we have a step climb after PESAT and before Tegri. And then we will be cruising up flight level 390 for most of the route. But initially, as I said, starting at that 370. That's absolutely fine. I'm not going to change that. That is all good with me. I will leave that there to do its own thing. The next thing I can do is VNAV. Now, the transition altitude out of Amsterdam is actually very, very low. It's 3,000 feet. So I'll pop that in for the climb section there. Then we'll move to the Econ Cruise page. Everything is looking good. Recommended flight level 370. That's what we're doing. And then we have that step climb in place. And then the descent, we can do the forecast as well. I'm not going to worry about the transition level yet. We will do that when we start to prep for our descent into Dubai. But we will do the descent winds forecast as well whilst we're here. And then we're pretty much good to go, in all honesty. We're not too far off being ready to get ourselves out of here. So we'll load that in. And there we go. We've got all of the descent forecast stuff going. Pop that onto the legs page now. And then let's close the rest of the doors up, shall we? Because we've completely finished boarding now, so we can close the cargo doors. And whilst that's happening, actually, I'm going to whack the APU on, because it's really not going to be very long before we can start to request push and start now. We'll arm the doors at the top here, which you can see on this ICAST display of fully now armed now. We've got all of the armed doors. We're just waiting for the forward and the aft cargo doors to close, which shouldn't take too long whatsoever. And then we're good with that. What I will do is let's have a look at the checklist here, the pre-flight checklist. So oxygen is tested and is all good there. I need to set that parking brake. And the flight instruments are fine. If I go on to the navigation page now, because we're finished with the door page, we've got a heading of 207 and a QNH of 1000, indicating 0020 feet at the moment. So that's the pre-flight checklist complete. And then if I click through... Oh, sorry, I'm doing it on the wrong page, aren't I now? My apologies. There we go. That's better. And then if I click onto the before start checklist, we can do all of that. Flight deck door is closed and locked. It's not actually modelled. MCP, we've got a V2 of 144, a popped a heading in of 180, and then up to cruise for the altitude of 370. Takeoff speeds are 138 for the V1, VR of 140, and a V2 of 144. CDU pre-flight, now that we've loaded in all the winds and everything, is complete. The trim is 0 at the moment because we have no hydraulics, but it will be set to 3.0 as you can see here. Taxi and takeoff briefing, I've already talked to you guys about that, showing you Aivlasoft. So that is complete. So we are just waiting on the beacon lights, which won't take too long. Let's load up GSX now and prepare for pushback and departure. It's 5 degrees centigrade and there is precipitation, but I'm not going to wait around for ages for GSX with the icing. Sometimes it messes up GSX to me, so I don't want to risk that. I'll go nose left, tail right, as we said in the plan that we would do earlier on for the pushback. And then it's telling me that I have to wait to start the engines, but we're not going to do that. I'll pop the navigation page over here now as well. And as I like to do, I'll take terrain on the right-hand screen. I'll take traffic on the right-hand screen. I'll also take traffic on the left-hand screen and leave that like so. We're on Unicom 122.8, and with no ATC, we're squawking 2000. APU is actually now running, as we can see on the upper ICAS display here. So if I go to this page, I should be able to take things out. Let me just put the packs on, just to make sure that we've got air and everything like that. There we go, because we have got the air conditioning unit selected, but now I can get rid of all of those. Good. Everything is looking fine and dandy. I'll pop the beacon light on whilst we're here, and that is the before start checklist completed. I'm always clicking on the wrong page there. That's so annoying. Okay, let's go and have a look outside again. The sun is slowly starting to rise. It's slowly looking a bit more brighter here at Amsterdam, but it's still not the best. We've got the beacon light going now, and I need to get that jetway out of the way. Otherwise, we would probably destroy something if we had that jetway in position as we push back. Looks like the tow truck is connected, and GSX will ask me to start our pushback now. Everything is looking fine and clear. There's no other aircraft around, so I'm just going to wait for that jetway to stop moving. It looks like it's finished and it's good to go now. And I think we are ready for push. I don't think there's anything else I've forgotten. I'm going to pop ourselves on the hydraulic page, and then we will release the parking brake. And whilst it starts the pushback, we'll pressurize the aircraft. So you can see here on this lower ICAS, the pressure starting to rise there. And the fault light's gone on the right ELEC, so we'll start the left ELEC as well. And once again, wait for that fault light to go, which it has. It's indicating 3000 on the pressure. And then we'll start up the rest of the hydraulic section, which is the C1, C2 ELEC and the C1 and C2 air sections as well. Wait for all of the upper ICAS warnings to get out of the way, and then we can start the engines. There they go. So that can go onto the engine page now. And here we go. Let's kick these babies to life. So start number 2. Wait for 2% oil pressure or so, and whack in the fuel control. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Starter cut out on number 2. Looking at the displays, everything looks nice and stable there. I love doing that view. I hope you guys enjoy seeing that number 2 engine start as we go. So we'll click start on number 1 now. They've finished the pushback, so we'll set the parking brake. And we've got oil pressure, so we can start the number 1 engine. This aircraft needs a good clean by the looks of things. It's rather dirty. It does look quite cool though. It does make a difference to the usual pristine look of every single aircraft that I fly. Beautiful. Okay, back goes the pushback tug as engine number 1 stabilizes, and that looks all fine and dandy to me, which is good. So I'll take the engine page off there, and then we'll go to the overhead now, and the APU can come off straight away by the looks of things. Everything else is good. I'm not going to set up the... I'm not going to pop on the taxi light quite yet, just because we're going to wait for the ground equipment to go. But we can set our flaps. So 1, 5, and 15. Have we got the hand signal from the right-hand side? There he is. Just down on the side there. We've got the hand signal. Good. Flaps 15 is set and is indicating green there. Let's head on to the flight controls page now and set that trim, which, as I said earlier on, is 3.0. 253. Good. Okay. And then I'm actually going to move that page onto here, because what I want to do is do the before taxi checklist. Anti-ice, I don't believe is required. It's raining and it's 5 degrees, but I'm sure we're going to be absolutely fine, quite honestly. So anti-ice is okay. Recall should just be the TCAS, which after double clicking it there, it is indeed the TCAS. Auto brake is set to RTO. Right, flight controls, let's do this. So, why aren't my flight controls working? That is the question. That's not good. This is why we do a flight controls check, ladies and gentlemen, because apparently it's not working. Right, let me fix this, and then I'll be right back. Okay, nothing to worry about, ladies and gents. Do not worry. I got scared there for a second. I was like, oh my gosh, it's all broken. For some reason, P3D had just simply deselected to enable the controllers in the menu. That was it. That was all that was wrong with it. There wasn't like a crazy malfunction. So this is why you do your checklist, because, yeah, it's always good when you have flight controls. So full left now is working fine. Full right. I'll do full up on the elevators. Full down as well, and then we'll do the rudder. Full left on the rudder, full right on the rudder. So flight controls are now checked, and I can tick that happily. Ground equipment, we've got the wave from the right hand side, the hand signal. So the ground equipment is clear, like so. Good. To move that back onto the nav page, and then that is the before taxi checklist complete. We'll pop the taxi lights on now and the runway turn off lights. And I think that is us ready to taxi. It's definitely starting to become a bit brighter now. It's still rainy and horrible, but the sun is definitely starting to brighten up. I've just realized that I completely forgot to start the clock on the right-hand side like a fool. So I guess we'll do it from the start of taxi instead of the start of the engine start. Oh dear, Chewy. What a failure, what a failure. I was too excited just to show you the engine starting up again, I guess. Right, let's add in some throttle now and let's start our taxi. So as I said, we're actually going to be taking this left-hand turn here onto November 3. I think it is. Straight away. So we're going to be following this green line here. Even though, you know, it's grey and dark and everything right now, it is really nice to see the scenery like this, because it gives you a good impression, and those guys of you know who don't have this scenery yet really get to have a good idea as to what this airport looks like with the night lighting and everything, which is such a huge factor, because nowadays there's a lot of nice scenery out there, but as soon as you go and approach it, you know, in the night or something like that, or when it's dark like this, there's quite a few sceneries that don't have the best night lighting and aren't really too impressive in that aspect. Okay, we're on Bravo now, so we're going to be looking out for the next left-hand turn onto November 2. Very dirty flaps. There's the ATC tower and the terminal buildings. No traffic around or anything today. It's quite quiet. Because it's raining, I'm going to be really, you know, cautious with this taxiing. 20 knots in a straight line is absolutely perfect here, I think. And then we'll just slowly bring the speed back. Watch those brakes, as here is November 2. So we'll take this left-hand turn, and we are going to cross runway 27, is that? Yes, runway 27/09, I believe. It should say here on red signs. Yeah, there we go. So November 2, and we are crossing 09/27. Did I say 72? I meant 27 if I said something different there. Beautiful scenery. It's very, very, very good quality. It is heavy on performance like FlyTampa's Toronto is, but, you know, my gosh, is it worth it. There we go. Saying that we are approaching 27. But we're going straight across it as we continue now on to Echo 6. Round to the holding point. So, we're pretty much ready to go now. So the before takeoff checklist is flaps 15. Flaps 15 is selected, so that's the before takeoff checklist complete. I'm going to pop the weather radar on now, and I'm actually going to squawk Charlie, just so I don't forget to do that, because we're going to continue on the taxi. There's no other aircraft inbound. I don't think they ever really land on 18 left, because it's usually 18 centre and 18 right for the arriving aircraft into Amsterdam. So we shouldn't have any problem of seeing traffic coming in on finals for us, although you never know. You never know on VIII. And here we are. Here's the holding point for runway 18 left, but we can continue on. We don't have to worry about any of that. So I'll stick all 3 lights on, take the taxi light off, and pop the strobe light on. And we are ready to go. Look at that precipitate effects on there, on the wings, on the flaps. That just looks so good. I'll never get bored of looking at that. Am I on the grass? Please don't tell me I am. No, it's fine. It's tarmac, isn't it? I hope I didn't just go on the grass. I was too busy showing you guys an outside view. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. This hasn't gone to plan yet, has it? It's fine. It's tarmac. It's tarmac. That's all it is.
On runway 18 left.
18 left is identified by a RAS, so we can line up now, get ourselves nice and centered on here, and then we are good to go. So just to make sure everything's good, strobe lights are on, flaps 15 set, RTO, LNAV and VNAV are armed. We've got our V2 speed in there. I'm happy with the way that the aircraft is set up currently. The only other thing that I'm actually going to do now is take off those dome lights. That's it. That looks a bit better now. I can actually see outside a little bit better. So at 7:51 a.m. Zulu time, we're going to start the clock up and we'll keep the baby rolling. Dubai, here we come. Toga. Thrust is set. 80 knots. What just happened to all the lights? I think the night lighting just stopped.
V1.
Rotate. Positive rate of climb, gear can go up. Wow, that looks amazing. That looks seriously amazing. I think all the lights just went out because it's now bright enough in the day in the sim to not have the night lighting on in the scenery, which isn't the first time we've had that happen in the video, actually, weirdly enough. Right. Let's try and remain smooth on this tree. It's actually a little bit bumpy at the moment. It's okay, though. Everything is looking fine and dandy. We're just going to try and remain on that flight director and do this first turn manually. Which I can assure you right now is actually easier said than done. That is a very tight bend straight after departure, but we're okay. We're already through transition, but I'm just going to complete this this left-hand turn manually now. That's looking a bit better. There we go. I'm happy with that. So autopilot in. We'll select standard Q&H now. And then we're already through 3,000 feet, so the speed's going to want to start to rise now, so we can start to retract the flaps. Wow. There we go. Flaps are up. We can select the altitude knob here on the MCP panel a few times just to make sure that it's intervened all the way up to cruise, which it looks like it is. And wow, look at that weather radar. That looks terrible. That looks awful up there, but a beautiful departure all the same. Very, very stormy and horrible and grey and just not very nice at Amsterdam. Could be keeping the seatbelt signs on here for a little while. Okie dokie, right, we've got the flaps up now so we can do the after takeoff checklist, which is landing gear up, flaps are up, after takeoff checklist completed. I'll pop ourselves on the progress page there, and as you can see now, the time is currently 7:55 Zulu time, and it's aiming us for, at the moment, to be arriving at 13:09, so just after 1 o'clock in the afternoon Zulu time, which I believe local time in Dubai is 5 p.m. in the afternoon. I believe they're 4 hours ahead of Zulu time. Look at that with the sun rising there in the distance. If I switch to the first officer's view, you can see the sun starting to rise now as we climb up to cruise with KLM427. Welcome back to the flight deck. We have reached top of climb in pretty much a record for me of 14 minutes, which is pretty unreal. We've currently got an 82 knot tailwind, which is absolutely brilliant. And I've had to keep the passenger signs on because with that wind, we've got quite a bit of turbulence. It's a little bit shaky at the moment. So I've left the seatbelt signs on for the moment. Hopefully I'll be able to release the passengers soon though, and they can go and have a walkabout and do their thing. We're actually estimated to arrive bang on 5 hours from now. You can see here we've been in the air 17 minutes. The time is 0809 Zulu, and according to our FMCs, we're supposed to be arriving at 1309 Zulu. We've got a step climb in just under an hour's time, about 40 minutes time in total, around about that mark, and just over 2,700 nautical miles left to go into Dubai. So everything is looking good at the moment. We're happy. We've just got this little bit of turbulence at the moment, which is causing a bit of havoc. And I'm actually going to turn down the brightness on these screens now because the sun has fully risen, so I don't need all of these kind of crazy bits of lighting on. The flight deck will look absolutely fine just without it, but when we were setting up the aircraft, it was certainly a lot darker than it is. But it's really fun to depart even in the dawn, I feel, and then hopefully we'll be able to catch sunset or arrive in Dubai just a little bit before the sunset there if everything goes well. So we're already at cruise, a nice 80 knot tailwind, to carry us along, and everything is looking good. Enjoy the cruise. So we are back in the flight deck, 4 hours and 14 minutes in, and making absolutely brilliant progress as of yet. If I switch into the captain's view here, you'll be able to see on the navigation display that we've got a 129 knot tailwind at the second, which is every captain and, well, frankly, every passenger's dream, because it gets you there that much bit quicker. So we've got, I don't know, I would say around about 50 minutes or so until our arrival now. And everything is looking fine on schedule. 4 hours and 14 minutes, as I said, on the clock. And we've got about 250 or so nautical miles left for top of descent. So I thought I would plan the arrival now. That is going to change, though. It's going to be a runway 31 left arrival. Sorry, 30 left even arrival into Dubai. You can see we're actually just here. If I just pop myself onto the en route page. So there's Q8, OKBK there. So that's off to our right wing at the second, and you can see how far we've gone on this route. I can't actually zoom out any further, but we are certainly making good progress so far. And then yes, a runway 30 left arrival, and our final waypoint is Desdi. So it's an approach that I'm sure a lot of pilots who fly into Dubai are familiar with. The Desdi 1 Charlie arrival, and then the old dot transition there. Now this is just a tiny bit too long. You can see this whole star here. It is very, very, very long-winded, and that is to keep in mind the amount of traffic that they receive at Dubai. We are not going to be doing all of that. In fact, I'm going to be, I think, cutting out this entire section here. So what we'll do is from Velar there, we'll take a right-hand turn onto the base and then onto Uldot and then intercept the ILS for runway 30 left, like so. I think that'll be better. Otherwise, we're just going to be doing this very, very, very long downwind leg, and then a very long finals as well, for pretty much no reason because there's no other traffic around. So I will move that across to the right hand side, and then we'll start to set things up as I said. So if we go to the departures and arrivals page now, OMDB arrivals, as I said, it's the ILS for 30 left on the Desdi 1 Charlie with Uldot as the transition. Now if I execute that, if we go back to the progress page, you will have seen that that has set our ETA back by a good 15 minutes or so, around about that mark, 10-15 minutes. We're not going to accept that, so let's go into the legs page and tell you what we'll do. We'll just grab up the plan route and bring this range back a little bit, and then we'll have a look at it like so. And if we head to where Velar is, which is here, actually I'm just going to take data off. I don't want to have a look at that. We're going to be able to get rid of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down here until I find Uldot. I'm going to get rid of all of these. There is Uldot there. We'll select it. And then if we go to the previous page here, Velar is the bottom of page 3 on the legs page. So we're going to go to the top of page 4 and enter that in there. And now if I bring this range down a little bit further, you will have seen that we've got this white dashed line here, which is basically where we're going to be changing things, and we're going to be taking that base leg. So let me now execute that. And that will just make things look, in all honesty, I think a bit more like we want it. And that's already taken 5 minutes off our ETA time. So we've got 231 nautical miles till top of descent. The time is almost 12:30 Zulu, and we've got top of descent in about 24 minutes time thereabouts. So we've really not got too long now. Under an hour left, and we'll be down on the ground in good progress. Let's set up the rest of the FMC though. It's going to be a flaps 30 arrival, which is going to give us a V speed of 137. So VREF plus 5 is going to be 142 for that. And then we'll also go to the legs page once again. And what I want to do here is grab the runway. And you know I like to do this, those of you who've seen my videos before. I'm going to pop some range rings around the airport. So 4 nautical miles, 9 nautical miles, and also 15 nautical miles. Just so I can see on the navigation display, you can actually see them here. There's the 15 nautical mile mark. You'll be able to see, you know, we just get some better visual awareness basically. Cool, so that's set up in there. Next thing is the VNAV page and the descent. We've already got the winds in, which you saw me do a little earlier on. I wonder if we should do another forecast request actually and just update those to see if there's any change. But the other thing that I need to do is now grab the transition level, which always remains the same at Dubai and is flight level 150. So we'll pop that in, and then, as I said, we'll have a look and see if there's any updates to the winds. That's going to load now, so we'll click the load. I don't know if anything will change. Yeah, there is a slight bit of a change there, so that has updated those winds, but our ETA is still the same, so not really too much of a difference. We're all good with the FMC. There's nothing I need to do there. The only thing I may do is just have a look at the NavRad page and confirm this. Yes, so it's got the ILS information on runway 30 left in, which is the frequency of 111.30, and then the approach course of 299. So that is all the correct information that we need there. The other thing that I can do now is head back up the top. We'll get rid of the map page, and we'll extend this display out again. I'll keep it at 80 nautical miles. And let's pop in the decision altitude, which today, apparently, according to Aivlasoft, is 233. So if you have a look at the PFD, you'll see that number coming down. I'm now going back up because I scrolled too far there. 7, 8, 9, 10, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3. And then the final thing we can do is have a look at the METAR and see what our QNH is and everything. So let's bring it across. I'll go to the conditions page and then click OMDB like so. So it's very, very nice and chill at the moment. Wind is 0 at 9 knots. Temperature is a lovely 23 degrees centigrade. QNH is actually bang on standard, so 1013. It's completely clear. Visibility is as best as as amazing as you can get it. So really, as you'd kind of expect, a lot better weather at Dubai than when we left the Amsterdam earlier on, when it was nasty and drizzly and horrible. So I will pop 1013 into the screen here. There it is, 1013, ready to set that. But we will double check it when we do reach that transition level of 150 or 15,000 feet, and just to make sure that that is correct. But that is us good to go, ready now for our descent down. As I said, 20 minutes until descent, just under 200 nautical miles, and everything is looking fine and dandy. We should be reaching before the sun sets, so that's going to be a really nice view as we watch the Dubai skyline come in. But everything is looking fine. It's been a nice smooth flight after a bit of a turbulent departure, and so it won't be long before we get down on the ground. With only 22 nautical miles left on the FMC before top of descent, it's a good time now to do our descent checklist. So recall is checked, nothing coming up on the warnings there. Notes are absolutely fine, nothing to say there. Auto brakes, I could probably get away with level 1 in all honesty. It's a very long runway, 4,450 meters or so for 30 left, but 2 is always safe. We can just go with idle reverse there. The VREF speed is 137 with a minimum of 233 as I showed earlier. And then I showed you guys the approach briefing with that DESD-1 Charlie arrival. So that is the descent checklist completed. I've reset the MCP altitude right down to our final approach fix, which is 2,000 feet. And we are ready for descent. So I will join you once again as we start to approach the Dubai skyline. Well, I would say look at that view, but we've just had a load of clouds suddenly form out of absolutely nowhere. You may just be able to see Dubai through a section of it there. You can just about make out the Burj Khalifa there in the background, but we've actually got a bit of cloud here. According to Active Sky 16, there's quite a bit of turbulence down at Dubai, so this could be a little bit of an interesting arrival, but so far everything has been fine and dandy. You can see we're basically on that downwind leg now, just through 8,000 feet. QNH is still 1013, so technically standard, and we've set that in there. And we had a speed restriction of 230 knots earlier on at Gitbo, I believe it was, and we've got another speed restriction just coming up in a bit at Elasso of 210 knots. So we'll start to think about bringing some flaps out at that point. We bring them out early, and we're quite a bit below that glides the VNAV path per second. So what I'm actually going to do is just going to VS for a second here and drag us back onto that, because we're descending a little bit too fast for what we need to be at this moment in time. So if I bring that to 500, you'll see here on the navigation display that figure here where we can see how far above or below the VNAV path we are will start to decrease and come back down into the center. It's going to take a little while though, but nothing to worry about at this stage. It's nice and smooth. Hopefully we're not going to get caught out by any turbulence, and hopefully we're still going to have a nice view of Dubai as we arrive into the airport. We've got a little bit of a crosswind on arrival. It's 250 at 8 knots now. It was looking like it was going to be 250 at about 18 knots earlier on, but it's calmed down a bit. So we've got nothing to worry about there whatsoever. And if I just move forward once again, there is the airport right down below us here, as we see the beautiful Dubai skyline come into view. Really does look stunning. It's always amazing. This is like my favorite part, because a lot of the arrivals that I do into Dubai, you know, are long haul flights, and I always look forward to this moment where you do this approach and head on this downwind leg, and you get to see, you know, the beautiful Dubai area that FlyTampa have so well modelled. Right, let's keep on going. Let's see how we're doing. That VNAV path is definitely starting to come back into play now, and is starting to look good. So what we'll do is we'll arm the VNAV on the MCP, and then you'll see that we've got that speed restriction coming up now at Aivlasoft. It's going to ask us for a tiny bit of drag, which we really don't need to worry about. So to help it on its way, we'll select flaps 1 now, and then we shouldn't need any drag whatsoever. Is it 210 knots or 2? I think it's 210 knots that we're looking for at Aivlasoft. But it seems to be wanting to stick to 220 knots. Whatever, it's absolutely fine. We've got this casual rate of descent at the moment. Everything is looking good. We've just clocked over 5 hours from when we departed Amsterdam. So everything is fine here. It's still giving me an FMC message saying that drag is required. Very weird. Move it back to 210 knots then, I guess. But as soon as I do that, we start descending a bit more. Very weird. I don't know what it's doing right now. I'm just going to let the autopilot and auto throttle do its own thing. I think it's sorted itself out now and has decided to wake up. But anyway, the plan for the arrival, what we're going to be doing now that we're basically on this downwind leg, is when we reach just before the base leg here that we programmed in earlier on at Vela onto Uldot, I'm going to start to bring the flaps down to flaps 5 and bring the VREF, or bring the speed, you know, go manual on the speed and bring the speed bug back down to the speed on the VREF speed for flaps 5, just to help us so we're not going too fast around that crazy, you know, sharp turn for the base leg. Have a look at the view outside. Oh, look at that. That looks gorgeous. The airport just below the wing, the Burj Khalifa over there. The sun's starting to set. I'm actually timing this better than I thought I had, because we've got these beautiful, you know, sky colours now. We're seeing the yellows and the pinks starting to roll in, and the sun's starting to set, but at the same time, it's not too dark. We've got these lovely shadows here on the MCP. And I've just realised, oh dear, Chewy, landing lights haven't been on. I swear I turned them on. Maybe I clicked them with the middle mouse button or something and they turned off again before I started recording. Or maybe I did just not click them, knowingly. Right, cabin is ready, which is good. We can see that display on the upper ICAS there. That's what that little dinging sound was. Got a bit of cloud just here on this downwind leg before we make the base. And what we're going to do now, let's tell you what, it's not too long before we actually make that turn. So let's start to bring the speed back now. We've got a really nice steady rate of descent, only 600 feet per minute a second. Plenty of time left, and yeah, so everything is looking fine. We can start to bring that speed back to the flap 1 VREF speed. Ready to go for when we select flaps 5 and make that that turn for the base. Such a beautiful aircraft. I love it in the KLM livery as well. Looks very nice indeed. When we arrive, we're going with auto brake level 2, which I'm sure that I can get away with. The runway length is quite long. It's over 4,000 meters here for 30 left at Dubai. So we're not going to have to worry too much about heavy braking or anything. We can go with auto brake level 2 and idle reverse. And then I wanted to change things up because I always park on the F stands at Dubai, and I thought let's change it up. So we're going to go and aim for something around the back of the main terminal. So maybe Bravo 15 or something like that, I think, is what I looked at earlier on. And we'll try and aim for a bit of a different stand. It shouldn't be too long of a taxi though. We are way ahead of schedule here with 5 hours and 4 minutes on the clock. The crazy tailwinds the entire way really pushed us along well. Still got these clouds bugging us a bit, but again, everything is fine. We're just waiting to kick in for that right-hand turn now, which we've just got. So we're going to select flaps 5. And I'll bring the speed back to the flaps 5 VREF speed as well. FSFX immersion doing its thing there on the wingtips. As we level out onto the base. Can't actually see the airport because the clouds are in the way, but those shadows look amazing. And then what we're also going to do now we're on that base leg is we're going to arm the localizer ready for the ILS to capture. We'll bring that heading round as well just to match it up, just so we don't lose that. And when it captures that localizer, you should see the heading on the MCP here snap to the approach, the runway heading, which I believe is 300 today. Speed's looking good. We'll leave it at that VREF speed of that flaps 5 until we establish on the glide slope, really. There we go. Right, as I said, headings moved around to 300 now. Localizer has come up in green at the top of the PFD, and we should any second, there it is, just as I say it, see that magenta diamond for the localizer start to move in as the aircraft lines us up on finals. Now that we've captured that localizer, we're going to hit the approach button. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to bring back that VS speed. And I'm going to leave it nice and calm because I really want to capture that glide slope early. We're in no rush now. We're about 15 nautical miles out. But we're going to leave it, let's just leave it at 500 for the VS at the second. Because we've already got that magenta diamond now coming in full for the glide slope. And if we capture that a little bit early, then I think it will just help us with our speed. We'll be able to bring that out down, you know, quite nicely. Bring up the landing checklist, which will be speed brakes, landing gear and flaps. As I showed you earlier on, it's going to be a flaps 30 landing today. But yeah, instead of letting the VNAV take over, I just thought it would be nice to, you know, keep it in a nice steady 500 feet per minute descent until the glide slope captures, and then we'll probably go with gear down and flaps 20 not too long after that. Fully established on the localizer now, so let's put on the runway turn-off lights. And we've still got this cloud layer here, which is disturbing the view of the sun, but those shadows and everything really looks phenomenal. Look at that view out the window there. Wow. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good if I do say so myself. Still happy with that VREF 5 speed there. The 5 speed, bug speed, whatever you want to call it. I don't know the official name. And we're just going to keep our eyes focused on the glide slope here, ready for it to intersect. A rare occasion when it is not completely clear on my approach into Dubai. We've still got runway 30 left arrival, which is what I always seem to do here, but it is, I guess, quite nice to see a bit of cloud coverage, and it does look amazing out that window. Wow. Right, sorry, let's concentrate. Runway's dead straight ahead of us. Any second now, we should capture that glide slope. And as soon as we do, we'll go gear down, flaps 20, and bring the speed back again to that flaps 20 bug. Any second now. There it is. Glide slope. Flaps 20. Gear down. Now comes the gear. As the speed rolls back as well, we'll arm the speed brake now, which is 2 out of the 3 on the landing check is complete. We've got a bit of a crosswind, nothing to worry about. It's quite calm. The speed's coming back quite nicely as well. The speed that we're going to be entering into the MCP is 142. We've got that VREF speed of 137, so we add 5 to that, so 142. And tell you what, let's move it back down to that now. Let's do that now. Let's fully establish ourselves. So we'll also go with the flaps 25 and then flaps 30 as well. Okay, lovely stuff. I need to concentrate now, so no more pretty outside views. Just waiting for flaps 30 to come in. There we go. Landing checklist is complete. We are good to go. The speed's dropped off just a little bit. I'm just going to let the auto throttle do its thing, though. And then what I'll do is I will double click here for the autopilot to disconnect. I have control of the aircraft now, so we are manual for the landing. Just going to dip that nose down because I feel like we're a little bit high at the second.
1,000.
1,000 feet is checked. Now, I feel like sometimes, I don't know why, I just feel like there's a discrepancy maybe with the AFPAD file or something for Dubai for me, because sometimes the PAPIs and the flight directors are very, you know, inconsistent with each other and don't show the same thing. So I'm mainly going to try and keep myself visual here, just concentrate on those PAPIs and see how we go.
Approaching.
But everything is okay.
30 left.
Pushing 30 left. Speed's come back up now. And hopefully that will bleed off. Don't want to be going too fast after going too slow on that approach, but you know that's the beauty with the 777. You can just let the auto throttle do its own thing, and you know rely on it, and it will be fine. There we go. We are a little high now, so I'm going to bring that nose down a bit. Just coming over the kind of freeway or the motorway section. There's no cars on it because I've got AI traffic cars turned off, so I apologise that looks a little bit dead.
Plus 100.
But we're all looking nice and stable now, nicely lined up.
Decision plane.
We are continuing.
100. 50. 30. 20. 10.
And we're down. Gosh, that looked a lot more rough than I thought it was. Almost floated it down the runway, and it looked very rough there. Well, not very rough on the landing, but it was okay. Reverses are green. $70 knots. Nice slow deceleration on the runway. We've got plenty of time left to go. And there we have it. Welcome to Dubai, my friends. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. Yeah. Well, actually looks very dark for me at the moment. I don't know if that's just my lighting settings, but we're okay. Right, we're going to carry on here. We're going to keep that speed. We're going to just slowly decelerate here. We can roll out quite nicely. You don't have to worry about that. And then we're going to be taking the next left-hand turn as soon as I'm able to, which is onto Kilo 8. I'm actually going to stick the dome lights on because I do feel like it's a little bit dark now outside. So here it is, Kilo 8. And then when we vacate, we'll start to clean up the aircraft a bit. Taxi lights, landing lights can go off. I'll kick in the APU now. The weather radar can come off, and there we go. We've got a flight time of 5 hours and 30 minutes from runway to runway. TCAS can come off. We'll retract the flaps and bring in the speed brake. And then in terms of the taxi, let me just have a look and see where we're going. We're going to carry on forward here. Sorry, I didn't mean to move like that. And let's select the gate with GSX. So we're going to go Bravo, as I said, which we're going to be going around the back. And then if I have a look here, all of these are medium gates, so I can't choose any of these. There we go, Bravo 15. That was the one I hoped for, actually. We're going to go with Bravo 15. I don't want to follow me. And we'll have DN80A do their thing. Good. Okay, I'm hoping I'm going to the right place now. So we've just exited by Kilo 8. And we're going to be taking this left turn here onto Juliet 2, I believe. For some reason you can't see the nose taxi lights, which is a bit annoying, but hey ho. It's dead here, there's nobody around. This is rare. For Dubai on Vaccine, there's just nothing. It's completely dead at the moment. I don't know if it's just because of the time of day that I'm flying, you know, or what it could be. Right, so Bravo 15 should just be up here. And what I'm actually going to do is we'll carry on Juliet 2, and then I'm going to try and take a right-hand turn in to go onto Uniform, which is the next taxiway. We don't really need to be going all the way around the outside. The air traffic control tower, which will be parking just underneath, I think, with Bravo 15, if I'm not mistaken. The view is now fully running, which is good. Just yeah, it's not often that I choose to go around the back of Dubai. I usually park around the front, so I thought it'd be nice to do something different and just park at a different stand to usual. Unfortunately, Flight Radar 24 didn't really give me the proper location to look for. I couldn't see where KLM actually parked at Dubai, so tell you what, we've actually got signs here for the stand, so I don't know if I really need to actually make that right-hand move into Uniform. I think we're fine to carry on Juliet. I'll turn the runway turn-offs off now because we don't need those anymore. That was Bravo 22 just gone past there, and we're looking for Bravo 15. So any moment now I should be able to see GSX coming up. I just think it's the lighting that's stopping me from seeing them. There we go, now I can see them. So yeah, we'll continue down Juliet and then get ready to make that right-hand turn onto the stand. Taxi light can come off now, not that it's actually helping us. For some reason I can't see anything with it. Start to think about bleeding that speed off a bit. Bravo 18. Bravo 17. On 6, and here we go, 15. And we'll bleed that speed off a bit. See how bad my turning in onto the stand is today. I'm usually pretty bad at this. Whatever you do, Chewie, don't stop. Not too bad. I've done better and I've done worse. Here we go. KLM427. Finally at its stopping place at Dubai. Absolutely beautiful flight. Thoroughly enjoyed that one. And we're reaching the stand with 9.9 tons of fuel left, so plenty left in the tanks. Fortunately, the lighting is actually stopping me see GSX too well and stopping me seeing the safe boxes still at the top here. So we'll just go with GSX for now. And there we go. We've actually got the stop sign at the top there. So I will set the parking brake. APU is running. And finally, fuel control switches can go off with a block time of 5 hours and 22 minutes. There we have it. Right, got an N1 of below 10 now, so the beacon light can come off, seatbelt signs can come off as well for the passengers, and we will request deboarding. Hydraulics can go off with right ELEC blast. Fuel pumps can now go off as well. And there we go. We are good. Let's go to the FS actions page. Actually, I'll just take out the mode Charlie there, so we're squawk back to standard, or back to off even, sorry. And then we'll pop in the ground connection. So we'll set the wheel chock, set the ground power up as well. And we'll open some doors. Disarm and open those. Open the cargo doors as well, which is good. And then I'll pop this page on that door page and pop the stat page over here on the right, just to watch that APU and the hydraulics go off. And then let's do the shutdown checklist. So, hydraulic panel is set, fuel pumps are off, flaps are up, parking brake is set, fuel control switches to the cutoff position, and the weather radar is off. That is the shutdown checklist complete. And there we have it, my friends. KLM427 is complete. Focus on the external power. The APU can come off now. It wasn't on for very long whatsoever. And we can go and have a look outside. I don't think the jetway connects. Oh, it does. Sorry, that was my bad. I didn't know the jetway connected. It seems that it does. So there we go. Beautiful timing. Look at the clouds. Gosh, this is more cloudy than I think I've ever seen Dubai, in all honesty. But it's looking, you know, amazing down here with the lighting as well. It really is looking good. It's a little bit dark for my liking, actually, just to be able to see things around. But hey, it adds to the immersion. Who cares? Everything's safely down. My parking wasn't too bad, actually. GSX said I parked over to the left and was askew. GSX lies. Lies, I tell you. But there we go. I really hope you enjoyed that flight, guys. I just thought it would be a great one because FlyTampa Amsterdam got released recently and a lot of people have been wanting me to fly there on a video. And FlyTampa Dubai is a beautiful scenery as well. You know, they're both staple sceneries to go and fly to. And so I thought I would do this one for you. I hope you enjoyed the journey. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to be finishing here as the cargo deboards. We can see the Burj Khalifa in the background there with a little strobe light on the top of it so aircraft don't hit it. KLM427 complete and in the bag. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like, comment and subscribe to the channel as well. We are very closely approaching 5,000 subscribers now. So thank you for your support, guys. I'll see you again in the next video. Have a good landing.